Let's see if we're live. Let's see if we're live. Are we live? I think we're live. Hope you're having a great day. You're definitely having a better day than the guy about to talk. The two people I'm about to mention in stories, in these news stories from today, you're 100% having a better day than they are. Actually, not the first one, but the second guy. The guy who was dragged from a car accident by a bear. You're having a better day than him. You're probably having a better day than me. 100% you are. Be grateful. Be grateful. That's what I'm trying to practice. Gratefulness. When I can eat dinner, I'm grateful I got food. Grateful I still have a place to go to right now. I'm grateful for my kids every moment of the day. So try to practice gratefulness. There's the gem I'm going to drop. If you could, hit the subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. I go live every weekday. I'm going to bring you weird news. I'm going to bring you topical stuff, and we're going to have weird takes on this. Not popular takes, I'm guessing. Or maybe they are popular. Maybe you agree with me. Either way, it's important to have these discussions. So, hit that notification bell when you hit the subscribe button. Thank you to everyone who has hit the subscribe button. It means the world to me. And I'm going to try to release another reaction video. I've gotten a lot of critiques in the comments on my reaction video, so I'm going to try to take some of that wisdom into account. I don't know if it was wisdom or they just wanted to tell me I was unfunny. We're going to talk about worms in the brain. That's got to be, I think, the most horrifying, most horrifying medical condition in all of life. Having a worm in your brain. There used to be a show. What was it called? Parasites Inside Me? Something like that on TLC or Discovery. I couldn't even watch it. It was just so terrifying. And if you didn't see the news, RFK Jr., presidential candidate, the news is so many articles are written about how he had a worm in his brain. It was dead, but it ate half of his brain. Or I don't know if it was half. It ate a bunch. This worm that somehow got into RFK Jr.'s brain, ate a bunch of his brain, and died. And let me say this. The article I link all the articles down in the description. The article I linked is a New York Times one. It has a paywall. I hate that they paywall the news. The news shouldn't be paywalled. They're already for profit. Like, you're already getting funding. You already put ads everywhere. Don't paywall the news from people. But I put this one in specifically. I put the New York Times article in the description specifically to talk about this RFK Jr. story, because this one details how he went to see the top. I read a Daily Beast article, an independent article in the New York Times. And in those other two articles, they did not specify that RFK Jr. went to see the top neurologists in the world. And I thought, what a lucky guy. If we had a worm in our brain that ate half our brain and we started suffering memory loss and all these other, symptoms from having a worm in your brain, we would not be able to go see a top neurologist. This is one of the Kennedys. Of course he has access to the greatest healthcare and money is no issue. But if you or I had a worm in our brain, we wouldn't even get a sick day. We probably wouldn't even have an earned sick day. We'd be like, I think I got a worm in my brain. My brain is feeling a little hollow in the back. I keep seeing something slither behind my eyes. I keep seeing like an inchworm go behind my eyes. And your work would be like, you gotta be here tomorrow. Unless that worm in your brain has killed you, you need to show up. So thankfully, at least the rich people like RFK Jr. get to go see the top neurologist so they can even figure out that it was a worm in his brain. A worm! I'm guessing it's not like a earthworm. It's probably like a parasitic worm. Which makes you question, what are you doing, RFK Jr.? Are you getting too close to dog poop? How else do you get a worm in your brain? Are you not wearing a mask when you change the kitty litter? I'll wear a mask when I change the kitty litter. Isn't worms transferred through, like, animal poop? What is he doing? Probably some exotic Gwyneth Paltrow goop type thing. Where they're like, you got to smear dog poop on your face and it makes you look I know JFK's or RFK Jr. is what, 70? Makes him look 65. Telling you, rich people do this shit because they're so bored with life that they're like, we gotta figure something else out weird and then sell it back to the people. None of it works. Let's be honest. Gwyneth Paltrow, I don't care what you're doing, sticking diamonds up your butt to make yourself look youthful, whistling Dixie out your bum, your butthole puckering up because you got too many rhododendrites, tiger's eyes. Enlightened ones, salute! Salute. Undercooked meat, pork, beef, chicken, seafood. Oh, actually, undercooked. So that's the other part of this article, right? They got all this information, I guess, from depositions from his divorces, right? So a deposition, you got to be questioned under oath, so you can't lie. I always thought the under oath thing was weird because it's like, if you read the Bible, even the Bible, Jesus is like, you don't swear on nothing. Don't swear on the temple. Just make your word good. So I think this whole system's fucked up in that aspect. But Enlightened One, please hit subscribe and the notification bell. I go live every weekday. He also talked about getting mercury poisoning. This is a presidential candidate, and this dude got mercury poisoning. Like, I'm sorry, but you gotta be a moron to get mercury. And he says, I like tuna sandwiches. I eat tuna every day. So maybe, you know what, maybe I'm being harsh. Maybe you don't have to be a moron because you like tuna sandwiches and get mercury poisoning. But what does that say about our Earth? If this dude's eating tuna fish every day and he got mercury poisoning, that's a huge wake-up call, right? You sub. Thank you, Enlightened One. Salute to you. Respect. I appreciate that. Hit the notification bell. I go live every weekday. I can only give you my word that I go live 5 days a week. Can't give you my word on what time, so it could be noon, 2, 9, 10 at night. So this dude, by the way, he's running for president. Worm ate his brain, and people are like cultishly following him. Mercury poisoning because he ate too much tuna. And I'm guessing like climate change isn't. I'm so hesitant to talk about anything on YouTube, but I wonder if that's like a #1 cause for him. You think anybody who is eating fish every day got mercury poisoning would think like, oh, you know, we're definitely doing something to the ocean if we're eating tuna and getting mercury poisoning. The other thing that's funny about this and reading the article, again, link down in the description. You're also from Boston. Oh, what's up? Do you do YouTube? If you do, let's collab. I just wrote a kid that I seen his video. He went to the Danvers, there's a hotel that's all run down. I think he said it was destroyed. But I was like, bro, if you come up to the North Shore area, let's get in on a video. I love meeting other YouTubers. CJ, what is up? I'm not feeling better, but you know what? I'm making do. I'm smiling through. If you want to learn, this is what my YouTube channel is about. If you want to learn how to take a punch and keep going, metaphorically, physically, literally, watch this channel. Because I've been getting knocked out every day, and I'm still coming back. But, what was I talking about? RFK. This dude had a worm eat his brain, got mercury poisoning, and is running for president at 70 years old. Never mind who, again, this is apolitical, because I'm not a Democrat, Republican, I'm nothing. When I was 16, I registered for the Green Party, and since then, I said, get me out of all these categories. There's no democracy when you have to join a team, you know? Think about it. Is there a democracy in the Super Bowl? Fuck no. You pick one side or the other, or you're just bitter, which that's where I am. I'm standing on the sidelines going, these aren't choices. I got a 70-year-old in RFK Jr., and who knows if he's on the ballot. And then Trump and Biden are 81 in their 80s? Like, would you vote for your grandparents to be president? Are you kidding me? All these people are puppets. They're all propped up by something. Money. Let's be very honest. So that pissed me off, #1. But then when you consider RFK is a 70-year-old trying to be prospective, however you pronounce that, sorry. When you consider RFK Jr. is trying to run for president and all this is coming out about him having a worm in his brain, a worm in your brain. a dead worm because it ate so much of your brain it died. It got full. It was like Thanksgiving. It was like, oh, this brain is delicious. I'm going to die. And I'm not saying he's, worse or better than any other of these contestants on The Price is the Cost of America to be president. But I'm just saying, 80-year-olds and a 70-year-old, why can't we have, like, when his uncle JFK ran, what was JFK, 35? We need someone in their 30s to run for president. And it's just been so long since we've had somebody young, but that's the only way we're going to have some kind of reconciliation of what's going on. Let's be very honest, because these 80-year-olds, think about this. When the 80-year-olds were 20, Jesus, I have to do math. So 80 to 20, 8, so we want to minus 60, so that would be 20 and then 40, 60. In 1960, sorry it took me so long to do that math, everybody. Thank you for bearing witness to that and your patience. So in 1960, Trump and Biden were 20 and RFK was 10. 1960, you know how different shit is? Like, they couldn't even fathom what a cell phone is. These dudes can't even use cell phones. Let's be very honest. Trump can, like, type tweets. But these dudes are in their 80s. What do they know about today? Nothing. We need some young blood in there. Somebody who's experienced a little something, something. And I certainly don't want a dude that, they're all senile. They're all old grandpas yelling at the sky. But worm in your brain? Worm in your brain. And he was like, I was getting forgetful. I forget if he had a seizure. But you can, again, read the article in the description. Read it for yourself. Don't take my word on it. I just saw brain worm, and I thought, oh God, that's horrifying. He's lucky he didn't die. He's lucky. That's the other thing. Free healthcare should be #1 on his platform, on things he wants to do, because he should be like, I'm so fortunate that I had the money to figure out if I had a worm in my brain. What about all the other people who just have to keep going to work even though they feel the little worm munching on their brain in the back of their head? Like, what about those people? Right? Look out for the other people with brain worms. And I don't think free healthcare is on his platform. Which, the irony, like when you basically, because your family has so much money, because he didn't earn his own money. He's from the Kennedys, okay? Whatever you want to say about that, that's generational wealth. But the fact that he had access to the best top neurologist, again, read the article, he could go see the top neurologist. There's people out there that are suffering from brain worms that cannot go do that, handling too much dog poop, or like Enlightened One said, undercooked pork and beef. In fact, I think that's why I stopped eating pork for a long time, because I did read that in Enlightened One, so I appreciate you. This is a learning moment, everybody. Cook your beef and your pork. You don't want brain worms. The other thing that was in the news that was horrifying, which I was like, we have bears in Massachusetts? I didn't think we had bears in Massachusetts. Apparently we got black bears. And a guy from South Hadley crashed in Hatfield or somewhere. This is way, way, way out in Western Mass, like the mountains, Springfield, Berkshires, like way far out from Boston. Like 2.5, 3 hours from where I am. This dude crashed. They don't know how he crashed. Crashed his car, hit a guardrail. He was the only one involved in the crash, right? And again, I linked this story in the description as well. But this dude crashed his car way out in the mountains, way out in Western Mass. And I guess no one found the crash. No one found him right away. I think he had passed away in the crash. And this dude got dragged out of his car by a bear. A bear came. Bear, like, apparently, does a bear hear a car crash in the woods? Yes. And it got his attention. They're like land sharks. That's what a bear is. They smell blood, they can hear a crash, and they just get attracted and curious. Again, I don't. Does anybody know where a bear evolved from? Is it a dog cat? I feel like it's a cat dog. They got both qualities. I'm not a scientist. And this bear heard the crash and came and dragged this dude, who I believe had already passed away, from what I read in the article. Dragged him to the woods. And when the cops showed up, they found him. Dragged him to the woods. That's horrific. It's horrific. I'm guessing the dude had passed away. I feel so bad for his family. My prayers go out to his family. That is a horrific thing to go through. And you almost, that's one of those moments where you're like thankful he wasn't alive. Because think about that. If you were in a car crash and pinned in a car and a bear came, like that is, the news today is very upsetting. Brainworms, bears dragging people out of their cars after a crash. Thando Jocks, my man, showing up. For everybody who doesn't know, Thando Jocks, he'll deny it, but he is a, what are they called? What are those guys? He's a Jedi. He's a Jedi. I believe that he's the one who trained Grogu. But Thando Jocks, have you eaten? What are you planning to eat today? I'll tell you what, I ain't gonna eat no pork. I don't really eat until way late in the day. The stress of what I'm living through doesn't really allow me to eat too much lately. You can't tell because my body likes to hold on to the fat reserves. But I will not be cooking up any pork, or I don't know. Not after, that's the other, I don't know if anybody else is like this, but if I read or see something like brainworms, like RFK had a dead brainworm that ate his brain and then died because it was so full, like I won't be able to eat for a while after that. I just won't. Too disturbing. That's also why I had, does anybody remember the show on Discovery Channel where it was like Parasite in My Brain? It was called something like that, and they would just detail these medical abnormalities of people coming in, like couldn't figure out what was going on, and then they saw like a worm, you know, crawling through their eye, and they were like, "Oh, you got a brain worm. We'll get that out for you." So yeah, Thando Jocks. What does a Jedi eat? Anyways, what do you have for lunch? The other thing I want to talk about is, listen, the worst part of my job, okay? I wanted to mention this because it's hard to endure the monotony of certain things. But the worst part, not the union busting, which they do, not the being targeted for being an organizer, which they do, which is all illegal. And they do target you, and they you know, they chirp at you, even though people are doing worse things right next to you and they don't get in trouble because they're not organizing, fighting people to earn more money, to have better work conditions, to not be understaffed, to treat people better at work. It's not any of that. You would think it is. Like, I can endure most of that. I know just people, management tells them what to do and they just go about and do it. They're puppets. That's not the worst thing. You know what the worst thing on my job is? Is the people that come in every day, order the same food, the same drink, every single 7 days a week. Number one, I don't understand how these people have the money to do it. But number two, think about going out to fast food. Because where I work, the biggest coffee chain in America, it's fast food, okay? I always say it's McDonald's for adults. McDonald's for the screenwriter. Because that's what it is. You come in, you get your adult Happy Meal with your eggy bites, and you treat your drink. But these people do it every day. Never mind the cost. Like, we figured out one of these drinks that somebody ordered, it would take me 5 hours to earn that drink. So if you think I'm buying a drink there, you're crazy. But it's not about the price. It's that every day these people are ordering the same thing, coming in and eating the same thing. And you wonder why. I don't wonder, but it's just shocking to see it. That's really what it is. It's like shocking, because if I had the money, which I don't, I like cooking at home. I like making stuff at home. I would rather be healthy than, like, even if we did have money. I'm trying to think back to when I was making some money. Like, going out or getting something like that was a treat. It was a treat. It wasn't a daily occurrence. And it just it really grosses me out. It like makes me feel disgusted about humanity. The people that can just go order the same thing that's fast food, greasy. And it almost makes me worried for these people. Like, want to be like, hey, you got to take a break from eating a grilled cheese every single morning. Like, you're a good dude. This is going to kill you. It's going to put you in an early grave. You can't eat this 7 days a week. And people do it. I don't know. It's so concerning. You almost want to like call their parents and be like, you need to tell this person they got to eat a little better. Call their loved ones. We need an intervention. You know it's addicting. You know the chemicals in the food are addicting. You ever had those fiery mango Doritos? They just came out this summer. There's a shark in the bag. I'm addicted to those. I can't afford them. I got one bag, and I was like, ah, damn, I'm addicted. I just want to eat these all day long. I can't afford them. Doritos are too expensive. All right, I got to wrap this up in a minute. There was something else I wanted to talk about. Again, I put all the articles in the description. I highly encourage you to read. If you are going to be voting this year, don't. But if you're going to, I would read about brainworm JFK. Old brainworm JFK. You want to read about that. I'm just shocked that people are like this, like are supporting any of these people. They're supporting 80-year-olds and a 70-year-old to run a country. And one of them had brainworms. I'm like, are you guys all nuts? Would you want these people to be the boss at your work? No. You'd be like, they're too old. We need some young blood. People know what's going on. It's weird. We live in a weird place. I want to say thank you to CJ, Enlightened One. Especially Enlightened One, thank you so much for subscribing. It means the world to me. If you could, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and keep an eye out for reaction videos. I'm trying to get better at it. I get a lot of people in the comments telling me how bad I am at it, and I'm going to get good at it. Mark my words. I was going to say I promise them I'll get better, but I promise them I can't promise that I'll get better, but I'll promise that I'll keep trying. If that makes any sense. Can't say you're not political, Ron. Listen, CJ, good point. I'll never say I'm not political. I just say I don't associate with any of the religious fanatic teams that we have here in America. What I always say to people, because I'm very political, is that life is political. Every decision, when you get on the road and drive, those speed limits are political. Those were made by politicians made those decisions to enforce speed limits. When you go to the doctor, you know, it's political because there's a Hippocratic oath that a doctor had to take, and that was enforced by a law that somebody had to write. So everything you do in life, from whether you're building onto your house and you have to get a permit at the town, or you're pooping in the woods and it's against the law because, you know, it's in a school zone, everything you do is political. So it's silly to me when people, and I think it's a wealthy people, highly connected people thing to try to push upon people. When you hear people say, I don't talk politics or religion, that's stupid, because wealthy people are very organized, very connected, and they all speak politics. In fact, that's their language. It's like some people speak Spanish, some people speak science, some people speak math, some people speak music. Wealthy people, and we're seeing it right now, they speak politics. They're very well organized. And whether you like it or not, whether you want to play the game or not, whether you want to acknowledge or not, that everything we do, when you put your blinker on, that is influenced by politics. You can't go anywhere in this country where there's a politic-free zone. So if people tell you I don't talk politics, you're a moron, because politics shape your life. They shape the laws that are affecting us every single day. So I am highly political. I'm just way far out radical. And the saddest thing about being radical nowadays is that I think people should have free healthcare. I think all of our taxes should be reinvested into the people, not just sent to the military industrial complex. I think we should have a universal basic income. I think everybody has the right to a decent job, and not only a decent job, but I believe that if you work 40 hours a week, 32 hours a week, a full-time week should be 4 days a week. And I believe that if you work full-time in America, you should be able to have shelter, have housing, and be able to get food. Stupid, basic shit. I believe that, and I'm radical for believing that. This is the wildest thing that I've ever seen. I go, what is the American dream anymore? To not be homeless? Because that's what we're looking at. So yes, I'm not meaning to get fired up, CJ Dewey. Labor Party. I voted for the Labor Party last time I voted. I don't think I'll ever vote again unless some Heath Ledger Joker style candidate comes about, and it just his whole that's what I'd like to see, right? I would like to see a presidential candidate dressed up like Heath Ledger's Joker, in the scene where he's burning the mob's money, and that's his whole campaign ad. He's just like, why so serious? And he lights $1 billion up behind him. I would go out and vote again. You show me that candidate, I'm voting for him. He's just burning things. He shows up at the Met Gala and just terrorizes the wealthy people. That's my candidate. Because the wealthy people are destroying our country, okay? It's nobody else. It's the wealthy people. If you're like, I recycle to help the planet, guess what? You recycling your yogurt? Is it going to offset Taylor Swift taking a jet when she needs to, run to the bathroom? These people are taking private jets everywhere. And if you think recycling a 20-ounce bottle is helping, you're sorely mistaken. So yes, I'm very political. I just I get fired up because I think it's a way the powerful and the wealthy keep the masses in check by spreading this propaganda. It's just like when they say, don't talk about your salary. Just in case you don't know, it's federally illegal to tell people, national law, that your employers cannot tell you to not discuss your salary. That is federally protected. You can discuss what you make with anyone everywhere, and I do it all the time. That's why I share it here. I share it at work. I share it with customers. Everybody should, and I tell people to do this too, and I teach them that it's the law, and I show it to them. And you can go to the NLRB website and look these things up so you know your rights as a worker. But I tell people that, and then they'll come back to me and go, we all started sharing a salary, and we found out that people had been there for 7 years were making just as much as the new hires. And how do you think they feel? And this is why they tell you. This is why the wealthy tell you stuff like this. They want you to think like, oh, it's taboo. Don't talk about politics. Don't talk about your salary. But really, they want everybody in the dark. And when we come together, there's more of us than them. That's why we're going to eat the rich someday. So I was trying to wrap up, CJ, but anytime anybody says something like, I can't say you're not political, I always got to let them know. Everything we do is politics. So be very aware and know where your power lies, because we have a lot of power. That's why they want us separated, divided. That's why they don't want us educated or talking to each other. And that's where I say, like, cross the lines. Whether you support JFK, Trump, Biden, I don't care. I want you to understand that I want you to have free healthcare. I want you to be able, if you work full-time or even part-time, I think you should be able to afford your rent and food. Like, I'm not for any red, blue, purple, green, rainbow. I'm not for none of that. You know what I'm for? I stand for the people, and that's it. I want people, I don't ever want to hear about medical debt that doesn't exist in other countries. I hate hearing about people losing their home, even before I started going through it. I mean, I just think the American dream used to be like, you could buy a home, you could work a job and buy a home. And now we got all these people saying like, oh, that job you shouldn't be able to afford to live. And they don't say that. They say that job is for teenagers, which is just code for, I think less of those people. And even though they work full time, they shouldn't be able to afford to live in America. And call them out. What I always ask these people is, so what you're saying is people who work a full-time job should not be able to afford rent, gas, and food? That's what you're saying? And I've asked people this and they don't answer me. Seha, what is up? You're jumping in at the end, buddy. Seha, I was thinking about you because I wanted to go back on the Fortnite live stream on this channel, because the channel I built, Yacht Rocker, just will not let me. It says my phone number's not verified, so I cannot live stream on the channel I built for a Fortnite YouTube live stream. So I think I might do it again this week. Seha, so good to see you. CJ, so good to see you. Thando Jocks, RFK's own family thinks he sucks. I know. I know. But his nephew, the redheaded kid, I forget his name. He ran here, and that kid's a punk. Go look up, I forget what his name is. He's the redhead. He ran for something in Massachusetts. And I was highly anti him because that dude has a quote that was dug up back before it was cool to be for cannabis, where he said, he really liked that cannabis was illegal, so it helped cops have the ability to pull people over. Because if you don't know anything, like my entire youth, if a cop pulled you over, they didn't have to have reasonable cause or probable cause. They could just say, I smell marijuana, and you were getting dragged out of the car. You wouldn't even have, most of the time, like, we'd be too smart for it, but you wouldn't have anything on you. You wouldn't even be smoking. They just had to say it. Those magical words, and you were getting ripped out of the car. And that dude obviously never went through it. And if he did, his connections helped get him out. And that dude was like, for that, punk. That's what I mean. These wealthy people are organized. They live a different life than us. And once you start to understand that, you realize it's not left versus right. It's the bottom versus the top, and we're coming for them. So yes, I'm very political. All right, guys, I gotta wrap this up, but I really want to do. Hey, leave in the comments what I should react to. I saw the Met Gala video, and it has like 8 million views, 7.8 million views or something, and I really want to react to it because I hate the Met Gala. It reminds me of one of those wealthy people parties in the Dark Knight series, in the Dark Knight trilogy. And they wear such absurd things, and it's all fake and phony, and people pretending like, you know, they say some French name, and they're like, oh, it's addressed by Jacques Parmesan. And you're like, fuck, what? Who cares? When would you ever wear this outside of the Met Gala? Never. I don't care if you're in France or Italy. You don't see people wearing this down the street. This is so, like, show me the latest cool pair of sweatpants. That should be, we should have a poor people's Met Gala. Anyways, so I was thinking about reacting to the Met Gala, though the video is like 3 hours long, and I would never try to even endure that much of it. But if you could, if you got an idea, something interesting on YouTube, something trending, something, I don't know, something that I haven't heard of, leave it in the comments. I'd love to hear that. Please hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. I love you guys so much. Really, you help me get through every single day, and I love doing this live, and I'm very grateful for everybody in the chat, and I'm very grateful for everybody who has subscribed. And again, if you want to know how to take a punch and keep going, this is the channel for you, because that's all I keep doing. I'm here because I love you guys. I love doing this. I'm so grateful. I can't stress that enough. It's hard to put in words, but I got to wrap it up. So once you hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell, if you could hit the like button and leave it in the comments. What would be a good reaction video? Like, what? I really like the stuff that I love. I've only done a few reactions, but there's a few videos where I'm excited to watch for the first time. So if you have any ideas, crowdsourcing ideas is always the best way to come to, you know, a more interesting conclusion. So thank you so much. Peace. Salute.